All right, guys, it's time for a narration. We're going to do a narration. This clip is only 4 minutes. It's Joseph Chiappalone saying what he's going to say. But before I push play, let's just assume that this guy is a total whack job, right? But man, some of these stories that we hear, man, somebody can make a movie out of this. It just, again, kind of reminds me of those stuff we see on TV and movies. If you tell somebody stuff like this, they say you crazy. They say you've been watching too many cartoons. We watched the thing about the gluten a few weeks ago, guys. Telling you straight up, right in your face, what's going on. But if the conscious one actually talks about it, he's a whack job, right? But anyway, let's push play, guys, and see what he got to say. But if he is a whack job, these people, yeah, they probably is robots. Let's go ahead and click on this guy. Let's see what Joseph Chiappalone has to say about what's really going on in the world today.
The trapped God created. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The majority of theomorphs, the trapped God created beings, the majority were rescued in November 1999. And since that time, the place has got worse because the energy source for the demonic realm has been depleted. Now, since 1999, what we have is myself, and I'm a leader of the rescue mission, and about 5,000 workers that I've got around the planet. That's what I spent 20 years contacting. I went around just about every part of the world contacting these things. I remember one day going to a plane in Tibet and sitting down and waiting for 3 hours for a little shepherd boy to come along. And as soon as I saw him, I knew that's who I was waiting for. And we made contact and then moved on. So we have this network that is supplying a special energy to sustain the others that are rescued. Who are the others? Well, I can tell you now, 70% of the people on the planet, we took away the consciousness of a billion of them in 1999. 70% of the people you see out there are robotic consciousness. They are robots. They are nothing. There's nothing there. They're artificial consciousness. But a percentage of them were made before the complete closure, and they have some divine energy in them. And a proportion of those have awoken to the light. In other words, they've been able to live an orderly life, a non-evil life, a life in true love, and they've been designated as capable to continue. They're the ones we're rescuing. There are also many what I call true beings in the animal world. We finished the animal world last year. We almost finished the vegetable world last summer. We nearly finished that, and then the mineral world. So we're almost finished the selection to take them away. And it's the consciousness we take away. Every vegetable unit has got one consciousness, one circle, one unit of center of consciousness. Have you heard that term? 7 chakras. Have you heard of chakras? They are units of consciousness. They're what are created by God to be aware. They're the consciousness. Any vegetable entity has 2. Animals have 5. Humans have 7. Angels and devas have 28 and more. And then you go to the galactic consciousness, which has billions, and then the whole universal consciousness. That's in the true system.
So basically, just to stop right there, guys, because the video is only 4 minutes. So basically, he said that a bunch of people, millions of people, got raptured in 1999. They were people who were supposed to be raptured. He called them the theomorphs, the people who had the God consciousness. The rest of the people had to stay behind to be cultivated some more for the second rapture, whenever that's supposed to be. And he says it's the consciousness they take away. Now, I've heard some other theories. Well, I don't want to say theories. I don't know. They could be theories. We'll call them theories. Because somebody had called in one time. I told y'all they erased a lot of this stuff. Somebody had called in and asked, if you took those people away in 1999, why did the bodies still remain there? He said that there were other consciousness that entered those bodies. Now, let's just say that's insane. When you think about it, guys, I told you guys it's not really a lot you can do in this life. You run into a lot of restrictions. You run into a lot of robots. Just like he say 70% of the people you see walking around are straight up robots. I can attest to that. You wonder why you can't talk to people. You wonder why people just don't get it. Now, you could say that's crazy. But when you think about what you do in your day, let's say you go to school or your 9 to 5 job, you're only pretty much everybody's just doing the same thing every day. How would you even know? You couldn't even test that theory because you're doing the same thing every day. You don't even have time to test that kind of theory out. But I will tell you guys this before I go. It would not surprise me at all if that was 100% truth. 1999, that reminds me of the Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, 1999, they was talking about the end of the world a lot in 1999. There were a lot of things going on in 1999. I can agree that after 1999, a lot of things changed with people. I told you guys, I'm from the 80s, and what I see out here today, people's behavior is not the same. And I don't know what happened. We got a movie called Body Snatchers. Bobby Hemmett talks about a lot of people in your family he say how do you call it? You got this thing called walk-ins. I remember I had a strange incident with an employee. They used to say strange things to me when I worked at a company in Las Vegas. One time he asked me, did I see the movie Shawshank Redemption? Which that movie comes up under my gematria, under my government name. And then the same individual one time asked me, he said something about some skinwalkers. It's like some information he wanted me to look into about some skinwalkers, but I think that that's pretty much relative to what Joseph Chiappalone is saying right now. For anybody to say that this is total lunacy, it's like, well, how would you really know? You do the same. You do the same thing every day. You don't hardly even know. Most people talk to the same people day in, day out. You don't even know what's going on out here. So I couldn't, me personally, I wouldn't bet all my chips that it's true, but I wouldn't bet all my chips that it's not true. He says 70% of the people out here walking around are robots. Obviously, before 1999, you weren't dealing with robots. This is basically what he's saying, because a bunch of people got raptured out. So y'all do what y'all want to do with that. I just want to bring this back up because it's like the only people that I even find to be intelligent these days are behind a computer screen. In my normal life, in my real life, I wouldn't say everybody, but most of the people I encounter in my real life just operating like a robot. So, yeah.